Have you ever looked at your cat and just wondered, why are you like this? Why are you a fearless explorer while your friend's cat is, a professional couch potato? Or why does one cat need to be glued to your side and another one treats you like a mildly interesting piece of furniture? Well, let's get into it, because it turns out there's some really fascinating science behind what makes your cat tick.
So think about your cat right now. Seriously, do they run the house with an iron paw, demanding food and affection completely on their terms? That's what we'd call the boss. Or are they more of a laid-back, go-with-the-flow type, a gentle soul? We give our cats these kinds of labels all the time, right? But what do they really mean?
We all know this one. The furry little shadow who follows you from room to room, purrs like a motor the second you sit down, and basically believes your lap is their personal throne. They just live for that closeness. And then you've got the complete opposite, the adventurer. This is the cat who views a closed door as a personal insult and the top of the bookshelf as base camp. They're driven by this relentless curiosity and a real need to explore. And of course, there's the shy observer. The cat who just evaporates the second the doorbell rings and prefers to watch the world from a safe spot, maybe under the bed. They can form these incredibly deep bonds, but it's on their own time and with just a chosen few. So we've got all these archetypes, these little labels we use. But here's the really big question we're going to dive into. Are these personalities just cute stories we tell ourselves? Are we just projecting? Or is there something more real, something measurable going on underneath? This is where things get really, really interesting. For a long time, the whole idea of animal personality was kind of dismissed as sentimental nonsense. But then researchers started asking a really important question. Can we actually prove it's real? Can we quantify it?
So to answer that, scientists had to get serious about what they call feline temperament. They needed to find a way to get past our subjective feelings and develop some real objective tools to actually measure a cat's core personality traits.
And to do that, they first needed a really clear definition. See, temperament isn't just about a cat's mood on any given day. Scientists define it as the stable and consistent pattern of behavior that makes an individual unique. It's what makes your cat, well, your cat, day in and day out. So, to measure this consistently, they created things like the feline temperament profile, or FTP for short. Now, this isn't just someone's casual observation. It's a standardized, repeatable test designed to see how a cat reacts in a very controlled way. The test itself is actually pretty straightforward. It's just a series of simple interactions. First, will the cat even approach a stranger? How does it react to an offer to play with a toy? And then, how does it respond to a minor physical challenge, like a gentle tail pull, which is meant to simulate the kind of accidental contact that might happen in a home? And every single response is carefully scored. And what was the point of all this? To create a tool that actually works. A big validation study confirmed that the feline temperament profile is both accurate and consistent. And this isn't just for science nerds. It has a huge real-world application, helping shelters match the right cat with the right family. And that can make a massive difference in reducing the number of cats that get returned. Okay, so we've established that we can measure personality. So the next big question is, where does it come from? Is it all about how a cat is raised, or is some of it just hardwired from day one? Let's take a look at the genetics. A truly massive study from the National Institutes of Health looked at this. They surveyed the owners of over 5,700 cats. And the results? They were absolutely staggering. They found clear, consistent behavioral patterns that were tied directly to a cat's breed. Just take a look at this chart on activity level. It's not even a close race. On one end, you have the Cornish Rex, which is basically a feline perpetual motion machine. And way over on the other end, you have the famously chill British Shorthair. This isn't a small difference, it's a giant gap. And we see the exact same thing with shyness. Russian Blues were consistently rated as the most reserved and cautious around new people, while Burmese cats were the life of the party, super outgoing and confident. Again, a really clear behavioral split right down breed lines. And now for aggression. The study found that Turkish Vans were the most likely breed to show aggression towards people. And who was at the other end of the scale? The British Shorthair. Again, scoring as the least aggressive. Now remember, these aren't just stereotypes. This is what the data showed. And it leads to a really stunning conclusion. So what does this number 0.53 actually mean? Well, for a trait like aggression in certain breeds,
This is what's called the heritability score. In simple terms, it's a measure of how much of the difference in that trait between one cat and another can be explained by their genes.
Just think about that for a second. For a trait like aggression, genetics aren't just a small factor. They can account for more than half of the behavioral differences between individual cats. It means their personality is, in a very real way, literally written into their DNA. And that brings us to the most important question of all. So what? Why does this matter to you and your cat? Well, knowing that your cat's personality is partly a fixed blueprint, it changes everything about how we should be thinking about them. This gets to the very heart of a huge, heartbreaking problem. Mismatched expectations. They're one of the main reasons cats get surrendered to shelters. Somebody goes in wanting that cuddly, social lap cat, but they end up with an independent, playful adventurer who would much rather climb the curtains than cuddle. It's a recipe for frustration for everyone involved. But understanding this science gives us the tools to fix that. It means we can try to match a cat's built-in temperament to our own lifestyle. We can create a home that lets them thrive, like lots of climbing spaces for that adventurer or quiet, safe hiding spots for the shy observer. It even helps us build a stronger bond and spot when they might be sick, because a sudden change in their normal behavior is often the very first sign something's wrong. Ultimately, it just lets us shift our whole perspective. Instead of trying to force a cat to be something it's not, we can learn to appreciate and provide for the amazing, unique individual they were born to be. So the next time you look at your cat, don't just see a pet. See their genetic blueprint, their innate personality, and then ask yourself, now that you know who they truly are, what can you do to make their world just a little more perfect for them?